On January 1st, 2024, for the first time, Minecraft was beaten on a random seed in under 5 minutes. In fact, it was beaten quite a bit faster than that, with nsla's 3-minute 51-second completion surpassing the previous record by 1 minute and 37 seconds. Minecraft Random Seed Glitched is a crazy category, full of exploits and tricks you would never see in the more well-known Random Seed Glitchless runs. This can include anything from something as simple as duplication glitches to exploits that allow the player to skip killing the dragon entirely. So in this video, I'm gonna dive into nsla's new record, some of the history that led up to it, and explain exactly how all the strategies she used work. This is the story of how Minecraft was beaten in under 4 minutes on a random seed. This is nsla's 351. We can't quite dive into the new record without understanding its context and what came before it. Random Seed Glitched runs, or RS runs as I'm going to call them from now on, have a rich competitive history, but most of that history takes place on version 1.8, and nsla's record is on version 1.16. Ever since Minecraft's leaderboard was split into 3 different version categories, versions 1.14 and on have had their own distinct leaderboard, but RS runs in the later versions just weren't very relevant at first. Even when version 1.16 came out, which was revolutionary for random seed speedrunning in general, the 1.8 glitched record already stood at under 8 minutes, and no one was going to touch that anytime soon. Because of this, there were very few people even trying out the category, which only confounded the lack of progression. But as you might know, 1.16 quickly became by far the fastest version for random seed glitchless, and a lot of the strategies that were developed for those runs could be applied to glitched runs too. So despite the low amount of players, the 1.14 plus RS record started to creep lower. On August 28, 2021, Oscar33 got the first sub-10 in the category with a 949. 7 months later, Sir Palmtree took the record with a 927. And 3 months after that, on June 13, 2022, nsla broke through with an 844. Now, this record was the first sub-9 on a random seed in this version. It was the quickest time cut relative to the previous world record we had seen in the category, but most importantly, it marked the first time that the 1.14 plus glitched record was faster than the glitchless one. If that seems a little silly, it's again because the category had so few players, and the world record meta at the time was almost entirely the same as random seed glitchless, with the basic duplication glitch the only real exploit used to save time in nsla's 844. Basically, the category wasn't super interesting back then, but it was finally starting to get some momentum, and just 4 days later, that would be re-emphasized in a big way, as Rubly destroyed the record with a 704. In her run, she didn't use any major new exploits nsla hadn't, but with a ruined portal at spawn, she was able to enter the Nether over 2 minutes faster than nsla, and the time saves from duplication were enough to let her coast far past both the glitchless and glitched records for 1.16. But just as exciting as that was the fact that it suddenly looked like 1.16 could be the new best version for random seed glitched. In the past couple of years, the pre-1.9 RS record had been lowered to where it currently stands, a 626 by Pyxis, so version 1.8 still held the title, but it was now a title that was very much within reach. By the way, let me know in the comments if you want to see a video about the history of glitched records on 1.8, which is a very different category. No one touched Rubly's record for another 8 months, but on February 9th, 2023, Jared seemingly made the breakthrough that would put 1.16 RS on top, with a 604. However, because of a bug in the in-game timer, it didn't accurately track his in-game time as he completed duplication glitches, and his run was retimed to 641. Still a 1.16 record, but 5 seconds away from being the overall random seed world record. 2 months later though, Rubly returned with a monumental 528, that, for the first time in this category, officially became the fastest random seed run ever completed in Minecraft. In addition to spawning on ruined portals, Jared and Rubley's runs took advantage of some huge new glitches and strategies, but I'm gonna break all of that down when we get to it in the run. With Rubley's landmark world record though, the stage was set for runners to see just how low Random Seed Glitched could go. But for the next 7 months, no new records were set, for 2 reasons. 1, the category still just didn't have that many runners, and 2, the conditions to set up an optimal Random Seed Glitched run don't come around that often. Meaning, even runners who do play Glitched don't typically try to reset efficiently for that. Instead, they'll be playing another category, happen to come across a seed that could work well for Glitched runs, and take advantage of it. And on January 1st, 2024, as people around the world welcomed in a new year, nsla did that in a huge way. So with that history behind us, it's time to break down nsla's world record. But first, I want to take a minute to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail is a new multi-platform space fantasy RPG from Hoyoverse, the creators of Genshin Impact. And it's free to play. If you've ever wanted to go on a space adventure where you can explore new worlds, fight enemies, solve puzzles, and search for treasure, all the while being immersed in a world full of impeccable animation and music, you're in the right place. With more than 30 unique playable characters, plus new turn-based gameplay that's easy to pick up but highly tactical, Honkai Star Rail is a super fun game. And with over 80 million downloads in just 6 months, I'm not the only one who thinks so. It won Best Game on the App Store and Google Play in 2023, and it won Mobile Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It's also available on PC and the PlayStation 5. And best of all, you can sync your data across platforms, so you can play on whichever device you choose. Honkai Star Rail just launched a major update, version 2.0, which adds a ton of new content, even new playable characters. Black Swan is an elegant woman with a mysterious aura. In battle, she's a force to behold with amazing DOT damage capabilities. As for Sparkle, she's a mysterious and mischievous girl capable of restoring skill points for her allies. But that's not all. In the all-new world of Penacony, you embark on a journey to a luxurious hotel with a hidden side, the Realm of Dreams. You won't want to miss out on awesome new gameplay features, plus the new 4-star character of Misha, an ice-type destruction character who's also a friendly hotel doorman. There are exciting online and offline events happening all over the world. Clocky and Dreamscape make their way to the Las Vegas MSG Sphere on February 4th. Clocky is touring the world of Honkai, making his way through city landmarks in many locations. And there's now a new webpage for all events related to Honkai Star Rail version 2.0, which you can participate in for a chance to win surprise prizes. So if you want to experience the new Honkai Star Rail update, log in for 7 consecutive days and get 20 free Star Rail special passes to draw the new characters. Plus, log in now and you can even get limited 5-star character Dr. Ratio for free. Use the link in the description below to download Honkai Star Rail today, and use the promo code on the screen to get 50 Stellar Jade. Thanks again to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring the video. And now, let's get back into it. It's January 1st, and nsla is in the middle of a stream where she's playing All Advancements, when she gets this seed spawning right next to a ruined portal. At this point, a ruined portal spawn, or a very fast coastal spawn using mapless buried treasure and an underwater magma ravine, which is the common meta in Random Seed Glitchless, is needed for a viable Random Seed run to start. The record is just too fast to beat with a slower Nether entry. As a dedicated RS player, nsla's first thought when she gets a ruined portal spawn, especially one with obsidian in the chest, is Random Seed Glitched. But when she closes the chest, she sees something much rarer that gives this run even more potential right from the start.
Oh!
Now, nsla needs ender pearls in order to make Eyes of Ender and beat the game, so this is good for that reason. But getting ender pearls at the very beginning of the run would also be huge, because it would exponentially speed up nsla's movement. See, throwing an ender pearl teleports the player to wherever it lands, but they can't do it over and over because each teleport knocks a few hearts off the player's health. But if that wasn't an issue, ender pearling around all the time would be the fastest way to travel, unless you have time to get an elytra from an end city or build an ice highway for boats, which speedrunners tend not to. And thankfully for nsla, RS runners have a way around this whole damage thing. When a player joins a world, they get 3 seconds of invincibility. So by leaving the world and rejoining right before they take damage, say from an ender pearl, glitched runners can, kind of just not take damage. That's why, 5 seconds into the run, nsla is already in an excellent position. Not only is this Enderman very advantageous, it's also super rare. For this to even happen, there has to be a cave at spawn, an Enderman, which is a very rare mob to naturally spawn, has to spawn in it, and then it has to decide to teleport up to the surface. nsla ballparks that this kind of thing will happen 1 in every 2,000 seeds. But when you consider that the runner also has to spawn next to a ruined portal for the run to work, the odds become much, much lower. In other words, just 5 seconds into the run, nsla has a 1 in a million shot at random seed history. But first, she actually needs an ender pearl from the Enderman, which has only a 50% chance of dropping. nsla grabs some wood, traps the fellow in a boat, and attacks with bated breath as the amazing potential of this run hinges on a 1 in 2 chance. But tragically, the odds are not in their favor, and the best start to a glitched run we've ever seen is wiped out before it can really begin. The sheer frustration of this moment drove nsla to rage quit, erase all of their past runs from the internet, and abandon modern life to be a nomadic hunter-gatherer in the Crimean mountains. Oh wait, actually, it looks like they just used a glitch to fix the problem. When you leave a Minecraft world, a save state is created that saves all the data of the world. But by killing the Java instance that Minecraft is running on by just ending the task in the task manager, the world is closed without a save state being created. As long as the player hasn't paused the game or opened their inventory, each of which also create save states, when reloaded, the world will revert to its last save state. So, when the game doesn't give nsla the pearl they're looking for, they retaliate by killing it. The second time around, the game is much more obedient. And just like that, 22 seconds into the run, nsla has an ender pearl. Next, nsla grabs a couple other things that will be useful through the run, wood and a bed, and now it's time to dupe. To do this, they throw all the items they want to duplicate on the ground, then kill their instance of Java, so a save state hasn't been created yet. Importantly though, when the Minecraft window is forcibly closed, the game interprets that as a crash, and when the game crashes, it quickly saves all the data it has about physical objects in the world, like the position of the player and other mobs, but it doesn't save information about the player's inventory. So, when they rejoin, the player has the items they had in their inventory when the last save state was created, but those items are also saved in the world, so the player can collect a second set of them. Back in my day, we duplicated items the old-fashioned way. 2 people taking items out of a chest at the same time on Minecraft Pocket Edition. I guess that wouldn't really help nsla in this situation, though. Fast forward a few more minutes, or a few seconds if you're an in-game timer, which I hope you're not, and nsla has all the ender pearls, obsidian, gold, carrots, beds, wood, etc. that she needs. She builds her nether portal, and she's into the nether at 56 seconds. This is a pretty good enter for RS standards, although sub 40 or even 30 second enters with all the needed materials, albeit without the ender pearls already taken care of, are very doable. Rubli's record had a somewhat slow enter of 122, so nsla's on great pace. She only needs one thing in the nether, a nether fortress, where she needs to kill just 1 blaze, do that as many times as she needs to get 1 blaze rod, then turn that into infinite blaze rods. And after looking around for a few moments, she sees it. Just 1 minute and 12 seconds into the run,
sorry, Rubli.
And it's evident that Rubli's record is in a whole lot of trouble. nsla makes their way over to the fortress, using the invincibility frames to ender pearl around freely, and hoping for a ghast to spawn.
Come on, gas spawn, gas spawn, gas spawn.
If you're wondering why they would want a ghast in an any % speedrun, I'll come back to that a little later. They get into the nether fortress at 125, and are greeted by a blaze on their bridge, which helpfully drops a blaze rod on the first try. Next, it's just a matter of some quick crafting and some more duplicating, and nsla is building another nether portal and blind traveling back into the overworld at under 2 minutes, which even for this category is simply crazy. Think about it. All nsla has to do from this point is locate the Stronghold, nether travel to a new spot to build a new portal and travel into the Stronghold, then go to the end and kill the dragon. And all of the movement sections of that will be greatly aided by her being able to infinitely ender pearl. Another way to look at it? In Rubli's 528, she blind traveled out of the nether at 333. So nsla has already put 90 seconds of separation between herself and the record she needs to beat. Into the overworld, nsla first does a few more duplications so that she has enough Eyes of Ender, then throws one. By precisely measuring the eye's position and angle of travel, Ninja Brain Bot, a calculator created by speedrunner Ninja Brain, will tell her the most likely position of the nearest stronghold and the likelihood that that's where it is. This eye throw gives the calculator enough confidence that nsla knows exactly where her stronghold is, so she'll return to the Nether where she can travel more quickly and head to the corresponding coordinates. Back in the Nether at 226, she travels in the most tedious but efficient way possible, using a lot of glitched ender pearls and a ton of pausing to ensure she's moving as directly as possible to the point where she'll build her last Nether portal. By the time she's traveling into the stronghold at 243, she saved another 9 seconds over Rubli's run, putting her a whopping minute and 43 seconds ahead of world record pace. Once in the stronghold, nsla uses a strategy called preemptive navigation to find the end portal room, where she turns down her render distance and uses the rendered entities section of the pie chart to determine what direction the silverfish spawner that the portal room has is in. This is a standard strategy for glitchless runs too, although there are glitches runners can take advantage of during end navigation if the situation calls for it. In Rubli's run, she blind traveled to a spot very close to the stronghold, so instead of returning to the Nether to build another portal, she purled over to it and entered that way. She also used preemptive navigation, but because of weird underwater generation, it didn't reveal a clear path to the stronghold. So she used a glitch where she rides a boat into a 1-block hole in the wall in order to x-ray through it and find the hidden portal room. If you noticed nsla crafting a composter earlier, it's because it's used in a similar x-ray glitch, but in this case, preemptive was the more reliable move, and it works out pretty well for nsla. Just 10 seconds after entering the stronghold, she's at the end portal. At 3 minutes flat, nsla is going to end up entering the end 2 minutes and 21 seconds faster than Rubli did, which is a massive advantage. Although it's not quite as big as it seems. See, maybe the craziest glitch used in these runs is one that nsla wasn't able to take advantage of in her world record, and for any future records, it's the #1 thing that's going to save significant time: the dragon skip. The dragon skip is exactly what it sounds like. A glitch that Rubli and Jared used in the last 2 world records that allows the player to skip killing the dragon and go straight to the exit portal once they enter the end. This is a consistent time save of at least about 40 seconds, and is an even bigger difference maker when you compare it to glitchless runs, where runners have no means of optimizing their own luck like glitched runners do. The caveat, though, is that it requires the player to get one of the less accessible items in the game, an end crystal. An end crystal is crafted from glass and a ghast tier, so the player needs to kill a ghast in order to do the dragon skip, hence nsla yearning for one to spawn earlier. If the luck falls the player's way and they're able to enter the end with the crystal, all they have to do is instantly place it, and the exit portal will automatically open, and the dragon will never spawn at all. See, when the player enters the end, it takes 1 second for both the dragon and the exit portal, which activates once the dragon is killed, to spawn. When an end crystal is placed in the end, it expects to find a corresponding exit portal, so if it's placed in the second before the portal loads in, it causes an already activated exit portal to spawn. Because the exit portal is activated, the game assumes the dragon has been killed, and the dragon doesn't spawn. Even if it did, all the player would have to do is rush to the center of the island and hop into the portal to beat the game. This is exactly what Rubli did in her record, and it's the reason she was able to enter the end at 5:21 and beat the game at 5:28. But nsla never found a ghast, and is entering with a much more conventional method of killing the dragon: beds, which she'll use to zero cycle it. A zero cycle is a strategy used in glitchless runs where, based on the generation of the obsidian towers in the end, the runner identifies the optimal point to build to based on where the dragon is going to fly. Generally, the dragon's flight path is random, but when you first enter the end, it spawns much higher in the sky than it likes to be, so it flies in predictable loops, gradually lowering itself until it reaches the Y level that it roams at. Now, zero cycles require a ton of knowledge, practice, and mechanical skill to pull off, as you can see in this clip from No Fear 1337's former world record in Random Seed Glitchless. But despite having to beat the dragon the hard way, nsla does have one glitch that can help her out here. If at any point during the dragon fight she makes a mistake, whether it be getting to the zero cycle point too slow or mistiming a bed explosion, she can re-log, just like she's been doing to negate ender pearl damage, and the dragon will respawn right back where it started when she entered. However, this does lose time, as she has to wait for the dragon to fly over and lower itself to where she can attack it before she can actually slay it. And right now, she's at the point where that time loss would mean the difference between getting the run under 4 minutes or not. So, in a run that's been full of complicated glitches and time-saving exploits, nsla is going to take on this Ender Dragon the old-fashioned way. It's not going to be easy. Into the end, she pauses for a few seconds to breathe and prepare herself. Then she springs into action, purling onto the end island and then up the obsidian tower the dragon is circling. She builds up to the optimal spot, and right as she gets into position to start detonating beds, she makes a mistake. That block is not supposed to be there, and it's going to prevent her from placing her beds. But every great random seed speedrunner must be a great improviser, and nsla has been playing this category for too long to let the pressure get to her. She quickly builds a new bed spot to the side, and with the 4-minute mark approaching, all she can do is finish out the run and take her shot at changing Minecraft speedrunning forever.
Oh my god, please, 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 please. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my god.
It's been 25 minutes since nsla started the run, but she just beat Minecraft in 3 minutes and 51 seconds. The first random seed sub-5 in Minecraft history, and the first sub-4 as well. Potentially the last 2-minute barriers ever broken in random seed Minecraft. At least, until someone finds a faster glitch. Congratulations to nsla on this groundbreaking run, and a big thanks for helping out with the creation of this video. To everyone watching, nsla has a message for you. Play random seed glitched. There's still a lot of room for improvement on this record. Just look at how much time the dragon skip saves. And if not for the low number of runners, we probably would have gotten to this point a lot faster. Either way, thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. And please drop a like if you enjoyed, or share it with someone else who might like it so it can reach more people. If you want to see more videos about Minecraft and or speedrunning and or methods of obtaining invincibility, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Thanks again to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring this video. Thanks to you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.